Alright guys, let's get right into it. Spawning in the bottom right position as our blue Protoss player. He's brought Fnatic up 3-0 right now against the opposing team. It is SaSe. And spawning in the top left position as our red Zerg player from NRS, it is going to be White. So, SaSe. Really greedy build the last game, but it was a really awesome display of how he could take advantage of the mothership core to basically go no units, super fast double forge, and really build up a great core of upgrades and pushing with that 3-3 and just completely rolling over Crass. Very interesting to see, in Wings of Liberty, of course, a lot of early greedy builds can be punishable by fast play. For example, that Reaper. So. It's always interesting to see how these new strategies pan out in Heart of the Swarm. But now we have a Protoss versus Zerg. What is SaSe going to do? Is he going to go for that gateway opener that we saw in game number 1? Yes. So we'll likely see him follow up with a pretty quick gas. White, on the other hand, may open with the Patry or the pool. We're going to have to see. Starting to build up that 15th drone. So... no drone being sent down towards the natural yet. This could be a 15 pool, and that is exactly what it's going to be. Very standard play from our Zerg player here. Of course, getting the spawning pool at 15 supply allows you to have Lings out to deal with anything crazy, like a cannon rush, possibly sometimes proxy gates. And he'll likely move in to go take that natural expansion relatively soon. Could go for a little bit of cheddar and take gas, but not so likely. Ohana is a map that has historically favored Protoss in this matchup due to the viability of the Immortal Sentry all-in. So it's going to be very interesting to see how exactly SaSe is going to take this map. He's going with this fast second gas, so he could be teching up pretty quickly. He could be going for the fast mothership core play. Should be really interesting. He seems to have some good ideas on how to abuse the new units, as it were, to get as many advantages as he can. So, Hatchery is on the way for White, building up those drones, getting that queen out. And the first Zealot's about to complete for SaSe, so nothing just yet on the snap. Of course, SaSe has shown us that he's been able to transition into pretty standard mid-games out of his openers. So, with the popularity of the Stargate opener, he's actually going to get this fast second Zealot. So, this looks like he wants to be really aggressive. We could see a Mothership Core start, but he's actually going to be able to, with the second gas, he's actually going to get a fast Stalkers. It looks like could be a double Zealot Stalker poke. There are 4 Zerglings being made by White, but this isn't really going to be quite enough to actually deal with the Zealot. He could try to bypass them and just run to the main, but he's actually going to completely miss this first Zealot, so the Zerglings and Zealot are not aware of each other. SaSe is going to move in and try to take an expansion now, but he's only going to have this this second... No, he actually canceled the second Zealot and started another Sentry. So these Zerglings are going to run in here, be able to put on a little bit of pressure, might be able to mess up this building Nexus. The Pylon is going to go down for SaSe in his natural, forces a cancel on that, so there's only a single Sentry available for SaSe in his main base. He's getting the Mothership Core out right now. He really needs this for defense. A lone Sentry is not going to be able to do too much against these 4 Zerglings. He might actually be able to burn the Sentry's force, but he's pulling a couple of probes to assist in this engagement, and this one Zealot not able to do anything at all now that the Queen is out. So good little pressure here from White. That SaSe's Mothership Core is done, and that's one of the things that helps you do so much with these Gateway Expands. Of course, Gateway Expands seen as being risky in Wings of Liberty due to early units trying to get in and abuse the lack of static defense, but Mothership Core fills this role rather nicely, and now we're going to have another Gateway and a Forge for SaSe. So with this natural expansion looking up to finish relatively soon, look at the Workers tab. It's about even, slightly favoring White, as it should, of course, being able to produce those drones off of the injections. Not anything terribly unusual. He has gone for the gas before the third base, which is pretty standard, though, for Zerg versus a Protoss player. When the Protoss player goes for a Gateway Expand, you want to be able to have access to either Roaches or Speedlings to be able to deal with fast Zealot timings, fast Gateway pressure. We have another Gateway going up at the front, so this Overlord is going to come in and see this. Okay, there's a Forge here. He's getting that +1 attack upgrade. No tech yet for SaSe. I just want to note that. No Stargate, Robotics Facility, Twilight Council is going to get a 4th Gateway now. So this is looking pretty interesting. Of course, 4 Gateway is pretty standard setup for 2 bases, but without any tech structures, he could be looking to put on a bit of pressure. Sentry coming in, getting that +1 attack in. Well, Zergling speed is on the way for White. He's getting his double evolution chamber, so depending on whether or not he goes for the Zergling melee attack or if he goes for the range attack, we're going to find out whether or not he wants to go for any kind of Roach style, possibly play a little bit of Zerglings in the early game. So should be interesting. Mothership Core moves up towards the natural. Is going to try to pick off a drone or two. Won't be able to actually get too much. Gets a single drone. Throws on that Time Warp, which of course activates that area of effect slow. So basically trying to hinder the economy of White, but will lose the Mothership Core in the process. That's a pretty big loss for about 30 seconds of delayed mining. Now, if you look at the income tab, he has slowed down White a tiny bit. He's barely put himself in the economic lead, but now the robotics facility is on the way. He's got his gateway units up. He does not have any proxy pylons on the map, though, so he's not going to be able to put on any kind of pressure, so to speak. But Zergling attack is going to be the choice for White, so it looks like we might see a little bit of Ling play, possibly with Mutalisks. And the Zerglings are going to catch a Zealot out here in the center of the map, so good catch for White. SaSe, no real map presence at this point, and his tech is actually so late. Taking a third base is going to be pretty difficult for him. He's going to need a lot of units to get that set up. Of course, Ohana, one of those maps where it's a little bit easier to get a third, especially with the help of the Mothership Core, but Lair is about halfway done. We have Burrow starting now for White. Of course, he can start Burrow earlier than he normally would be able to, thanks to it being moved towards that hatchery tech, even though the Lair is not complete. So Baneling Nest is coming in as well, so this is really starting to look like there's going to be possibility of some Mutalisk play later on once this Lair completes versus the gas being taken, but the Zergling is going to get shoved away by SaSe. He's going to go straight for this third base without breaking down these rocks, so a pretty gutsy play. He's not going to be able to defend this very well at all. He might try to throw up a very quick wall of gateways to defend this, or he could try to put on a bit of pressure, but 1-1 coming in. He has the +1 attack. He's actually going to get Blink and +2 pretty quickly, so using that Hallucinated Phoenix to scout. SaSe trying to get a bit on the aggressive here. He's bringing the probe up. He doesn't have a proxy pylon set up just yet. A couple of Zerglings are just going to try to run by and do a bit of a counter attack. Might be able to catch this Immortal in the center, which would be absolutely huge. He's just going to continue to run straight on by. He wants to get right to that main base, but there's a Zealot here to defend. And White, he's going to be held off. He's going to try to run towards this third possibly, but there's a lot of units here for SaSe to deal with. And this third hatchery is complete for White. He's actually supply blocked right now, though. He started the Spire. He's starting his 1-1. He does not have any Overlords to get any more units out. He's going to build these 6 Zerglings, and that's going to be it. He's going to try to force a cancel on this third base, and that he shall, but the Zealot defense here is superb from SaSe. 78 supply. He's been stuck there for so long, not able to get any units. 6 Overlords being produced by White. He's trying to get out enough units to deal with this, but the big Zergling attack is going to come in. It's actually spotted by the Observer. The proxy pylon will be shut down, but there's a good number of force fields available for SaSe. Now, keep in mind, though, that +1 armor is complete for the Zerglings, so the +1 armor for the Zealots mitigated. Force fields go down, manages to pinch off a couple of these Zerglings. More force fields going down. There's not enough ranged damage here, though, and a couple of the Zerglings actually slipping in. Being able to take the Zerglings chunks at a time is actually really helping SaSe to deal with these. Once that +2 attack completes, the Zealots will be able to once again two-shot the Zerglings, but it looks like SaSe's dealt with all these units quite fine. Great set of force fields, and using the positioning of this Evolution Chamber has really helped him, as well as the Mothership Core getting in a couple of assists. So good play. He's up about 20 supply, and he's going to take out these Evolution Chambers, and, well, he's looking very strong. We have 10 Mutalisks on the way for White. Is this going to be enough to overpower this? It seems like the only anti-air here is going to be these 2 Stalkers and these 2 Sentries, but is he going to be able to deal crippling damage before the Mutalisks are even a factor in this game? Drones beginning to go down in the natural. The Mutalisks are about to come out. He doesn't have any pylons to reinforce this, so the Mutas should be able to clean this up, but we could see a recall, and that's exactly what he's going to do. Brings everything back to the main. SaSe taking minimal damage. Basically just walked in, killed a bunch of drones, and just walked right out. His third was canceled, but he killed the third of White and a bunch of drones. And if you look at the workers tab now, it's 33 drones to 52. He's going to make 10 drones, but he's still going to be behind economically. And he's rebuilding this third hatchery. All SaSe really needs to do is turtle up a little bit, get some static defense, and he could possibly go for a big push to try to end the game. He just needs to make sure that he doesn't get caught off guard by these Mutalisks and take too much damage. But since he already knows of their presence, he should be fine to deal with them. Stalker's blinking forward, trying to grab a Mutalisk. Does manage to get one, and at this point, every supply counts for White. These rocks being worked away. Now he's going to try to swing around, possibly towards that main base with the Stalkers out of position, but there's already Stalkers waiting here. SaSe warped these in 2 hours ago in preparation for the arrival of these Mutalisks. Now the third base is going to start up again for SaSe. So once he secures this third base economy, he's going to be quite fine, it looks, to deal with this. So now Observer heading over. Sees this third base. The fourth base is as well being taken, so He's got a couple of Stalkers on the field. He's moving out now. There's not too much to actually support these Mutalisks, though, to deal with the Stalker numbers. So with the +2 attack and that +3 coming in, this could look like a bit of a repeat from that push in game number 1, where the Mutalisks simply were not enough from the Zerg player to deal with this. So he's going to send an Immortal to deal with this base. Of course, the Immortal's not going to play too much of a role in the rest of this game due to the Mutalisk count. So nice kind of partitioning that off. He just wants to protect the Colossus because that will, of course, be able to deal with any number of Zerglings. And now the Mutalisk is just going to head towards the main base. He says, hey, if you want to attack me, that's fine, but I'm going to try to force a base trade. But SaSe, he has a ton of Stalkers already warped in. He has that +2 attack, +3 so close to finishing, and it looks like he's going to push in now towards White's third base, picking off their creep tumors with that Observer. Queen getting annihilated. There's barely any drones at the third, but they will also die. And even the natural, a little bit oversaturated, can't move those drones away because of the position that he's in. And this base is going to get sniped. Warps in a couple of Stalkers. The Immortal is basically forfeit, but SaSe, he's in quite a commanding position. These Stalkers trying to get caught here, trying to pick off the reinforcements of SaSe, but everything else is there so quickly. The Zealot will be able to finish off this hatchery, going to get that last hit kill. And White wants to go for a counterattack. The third base might be forfeit for SaSe once again, but at this point it's looking like his core army is unstoppable. The one Colossus in here with that +3 attack just deals so much extra damage, basically one-shotting Zerglings, so really starting to fry him up, and now he's heading in towards the natural expansion, getting clumped on the ramp, but the Stalkers blink forward. He will lose the third Nexus, but that's not really significant at this point. There's simply too much here for SaSe, for White to actually ever kill any of it, so as long as the Stalkers stay together and don't get picked off by the Mutalisks with that regenerating health passive ability, you should be fine. Now the Colossus dealing tons of damage. These Zerglings die almost instantly, and there's the GG from White. SaSe takes Fnatic 4-0 over NRS. Really, really good play here, and a pretty awesome control. SaSe had his number all game long, barely took any hits. Yeah, so really, really solid play. So we'll have to see. This could be it for this match. I know it's a best of 9. I think there's one more win. So with one more win, SaSe can all kill basically this match. So this should be good, guys. Don't go anywhere. This is the Acer Team Story Cup EU Qualifier number 1. There's only a round of 16, so you got a lot more games coming at you guys today. Sit back and just enjoy.